Good morning, dear students, and welcome back after your second semester exams. Hope you all have done your paper nicely and sincerely. Well, today we are going to begin with our third semester portion. Before starting with the third semester portion, let me remind you of the certain things that you have to keep in mind. You need to watch all the videos sincerely and regularly, and whatever work is given in each video or in each PDF, that is to be done in your book and copies as it is instructed, as it is directed, because every month your copies will be collected for correction, and you know that on the basis of these copies, the work which you do in the copies, you will be awarded 5 marks internal assessment. So kindly complete all your work in the book and copy as it is directed by the teacher. So let's begin with the portion for the third semester. In the third semester, we have only one chapter that is to be dealt, and the name of the chapter is Human Body. What is the name of the chapter? Human Body. This chapter is having the content of about 3 chapters. In these chapters, we will be dealing with the digestive system, the respiratory system, and the circulatory system. So we are going to discuss about the human body 3 main systems. In the digestive system, you will be learning about all the body parts which are involved in the process of digestion and the role of each part of the body that is engaged in this process of digestion. In the second topic, that is the respiratory system, you will be learning about how the air that we inhale reaches to the lungs, and then how it is reaching to the cells, and finally how it is exhaled out of the body. And in the circulatory system, you will be mainly focusing on the most important part of our body, and that is heart. So you will be learning how the blood flows from the different parts of the body to the heart, and then how heart pumps this oxygenated blood to different parts of the body. So you will be learning about these 3 systems that are present in our body, and it is helping us to live. Okay, so in this chapter you will be learning about all these 3 topics: the digestive system, the respiratory system, and the circulatory system. So the topic for the day is the digestive system. So let's explore this topic, the digestive system. So in this chapter you are going to learn that the human body consists of various organ systems, and each of these systems consists of organs which help them perform specific functions. Well, in the previous chapter, you have learnt about cells, where you have learnt that there are millions of cells which are present in our body. These cells, they work together and they form the tissues. These tissues, they work together to form the organs, and finally, the different organs of our body, they work together to form organ systems. In our body, there are 10 organ systems, namely circulatory system, respiratory system, skeletal system, muscular system, digestive system, excretory system, reproductive, integumentary, nervous, and endocrine system. These organ systems are woven together such that one cannot work without the other. That means all these systems which are present in our body, they are working together. Without the help of one, the other cannot work in proper way. So in this chapter, we will study about the digestive, respiratory and circulatory systems. So let's see the main topic for the day. It's the digestive system. As you can see here in the module, a child is visible to you, which shows the human body. But in the other part, that is on the left side, you can find that the child is showing a system that is starting from the mouth and it is reaching to the abdominal part of the body. So this is our digestive system. What is it? It is the digestive system. The food that we eat, that means the food that we take through the mouth, it reaches to our stomach and there the different processes takes place. The food get digested and finally the digested food material is passed on to the different parts of the body. That means the cells, they get the nutrition, and after completing this complete process of digestion, the undigested part of the food is excreted out of our body. So in the digestive system in human beings, we are going to study in detail which all parts of our body are involved in the process of digestion. The most important part of the digestive system is our stomach. That is, the food that we take through the mouth, it finally reaches to the stomach where rest of the processes go on and finally the food gets absorbed. The food that we take, it passes through a continuous canal which is divided into various compartments. Compartments means the digestive system in human beings consists of two parts: alimentary canal and the digestive glands. Alimentary canal is also known as food canal or the digestive tract. It is long, membrane-lined tube of varying thickness. It runs from the mouth to the anus. That means it begins from here, it begins from the mouth and it ends up in the anus. It runs from the mouth to the anus and in between it consists of various other parts, and that is mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, rectum, and finally it ends up at anus. Then there are digestive glands which are included in the digestive system, and these digestive glands include salivary glands, liver, and pancreas. These are linked with the alimentary canal. Now, the first part of the digestive system that comes into the alimentary canal is the mouth. Food is taken in the body through the mouth, which opens into a small chamber that is called as buccal cavity. Digestion starts in the mouth itself. We know that the mouth, it consists of which all parts? Mouth consists of tongue, teeth and salivary glands. The work of the teeth is it helps in chewing the food. It converts the food into smaller pieces and simultaneously it keeps on mixing with the saliva. The teeth helps the food to get convert into smaller pieces and the food in the mouth itself, it gets mixed with saliva. Saliva, what is saliva? Saliva is the watery substance that is present in the mouth And from where it is secreted? It is secreted by three pairs of salivary glands which are present in our mouth. Then the second part of the alimentary canal is the tongue. The next part of the alimentary canal is the tongue. Well, tongue is a fleshy, muscular organ that is attached at the back of the buccal cavity, and its front part is free. Okay? It can move in all the directions and it helps us in many ways. Let's see what are the functions it performs. It helps in swallowing the food. It helps in mixing the food with saliva. It also helps in detecting the different tastes. As here you can see on the teeth, the different taste buds are mentioned. The front part of the tongue, it helps in detecting the sweet taste. The side part of the tongue, it helps in detecting the sour taste, and the end part, that means the inner part of the tongue, it helps in detecting the bitter taste. Okay, so these are the different taste buds which are present on our tongue. We have sweet taste bud, salty taste bud, sour taste bud, and bitter taste bud. And it is the tongue only that helps us in speaking. What we are able to speak, it is because of the tongue that is present inside our mouth, and it has various other functions as you have already known just now. It helps in swallowing the food, it helps in mixing the food with the saliva, it helps in speaking, and it also helps us in tasting the different food. We like to eat food, and this liking is because of the different taste that we can detect by with the help of our tongue. Then the next part of the alimentary canal is the teeth. The teeth are located in our upper and the lower jaws. Everybody is having teeth, and you know that we have two jaws, the upper jaw and the lower jaw. So the teeth are located in the upper and lower jaws, and this upper and lower jaws are present in the buccal cavity, and the teeth is fixed at its place due to the gums which are present. They break the teeth, it breaks the food into smaller pieces, and also it grinds it into a pulp so that it can be easily swallowed. Teeth also helps in swallowing, as we have just now discussed while discussing about tongue, that it is the tongue which is helping in speaking, but it is also that the teeth also helps in speaking. All our teeth do not have the same shape and size. We have majorly four types of teeth. The structure and the function of the four types of teeth are: the first type of teeth which we have is incisors. These are located in the front of the mouth. There are four incisors in the upper jaw and four incisors in the lower jaw. That means there are a total of 8 incisors, 4 in the upper jaw, 4 in the lower jaw, and they are flat, straight, and have sharp edges like a chisel. They are the work or the function of these incisors is it is used for cutting and biting the food. Then the next type of teeth is canines. These are situated next to the incisors. As you can see here, these are the chisel shaped teeth which are the incisors, and next to the incisors there are canines which are present. These are the canines which are present. So these are next to the incisors, one on each side. Thus, there are two canines in the upper jaw. That means one this side, one on this side. So two in the upper jaw and two in the lower jaw. These are the canines. Okay. These canines, they are sharp and pointed. And what is the function of these sharp and pointed canines? It helps in piercing and tearing of the food. Then the next type of teeth is premolars. What is the name? The premolars. There are two premolars next to the canines on each side of the jaw. That means two on this side, that is the right side, and two on the left side. The same way on the lower jaw also there will be two on the right side and two on the left side. So there are a total of four premolars in the upper jaw and four premolars in the lower jaw. And the work of these premolars is crushing and grinding food. Then the fourth type of teeth is molars. These are the last three teeth on each side of both the jaws next to the premolars. That means the end part. These three on the left side and these three on the right side. These are the premolars. On the lower jaw also there are six molars, and on the upper jaw also there are six molars. So a total of how many molars? There are six molars in the upper jaw and six molars in the lower jaw. And the work of these molars is also, it is used for cutting, it is used for chewing and grinding the food. So the last molar on each side of each jaw is having a special name. It is termed as wisdom tooth. Why is it considered wisdom tooth? Because it appears last, generally at the age of 17 to 20 years, when the human being it reaches maturity level. That time these teeth appear. However, in some people these tooth does not appear at all. So that doesn't mean that they do not have wisdom, but they do not have wisdom tooth. Wisdom tooth appears at maturity. That's why we call it wisdom tooth. A baby, when he or she is born, you must have observed, is having no teeth. The baby is born without teeth. At the as the baby grows, what happens? The teeth appears. The first teeth, or the teeth, it appears in babies at the age of 6 to 7 months. When the babies are of about 6 to 7 months, then these teeth start appearing in their mouth, and these teeth are called as milk teeth or temporary teeth. So there are a total of only 20 milk teeth, which consists of 8 incisors, 4 canines and 8 premolars. There are no temporary molars. Molars do not appear at that age. So these teeth, that is the milk teeth, they fall off between the age of 6 to 8 years, and they are replaced by a new set of teeth, which is called as permanent teeth. And now I suppose you are in the age when you have the permanent teeth. All your milk teeth are replaced by the permanent teeth, and as you grow old you will have a number of 32 teeth, 16 each in each jaw, 16 in the upper jaw, 16 in the lower jaw. And these 16 teeth in the upper jaw will consist of 8 incisors, 4 canines, 8 premolars and 12 molars. Okay, so you will have in both the jaws, upper and the lower jaw, you will have a total of how many teeth? 32 teeth, 16 in each jaw. Okay, and the molars appear only once. This is the most important part which you need to remember, and it can be asked as an objective question, that which tooth appears only once in the lifetime? What will be the answer? Yes, the answer is the molars. They appear only once in the lifetime. Then let's move on to the next topic, and the next topic is, after the buccal cavity, what happens to the food? Where does it reach? We have just now known that in the buccal cavity, the food that we take, that we eat, it is chewed by the teeth, and it is broken down mechanically into smaller pieces, and finally when it is converted into smaller pieces in the mouth and it is mixed up with the saliva, where does it go? It passes into the food pipe. The food pipe is also called as esophagus. What is it called? Esophagus. So the swallowed food, it passes from the mouth to the stomach through a passage or a pipe, and this pipe is called as food pipe or esophagus. This pipe is a tube-like structure, as you can see here in the module. It is a tube-like structure. It is clearly visible. It is a tube-like structure extending from the throat to the stomach. The food moves forward in the esophagus due to contraction of the muscles in a wave-like motion, and this movement, or you can say the contraction for the passage of food from one part to the other part, is called as peristalsis. What it is called? It is called as peristalsis. Well, when we have started this discussion about the digestive system, I have told you that the first step of the digestion, it begins in the buccal cavity, that is in the mouth. The first part of the digestion takes place. But let me make you one thing very clear, that when the food is passing through the food pipe, that is when it is passing due to contraction of the esophagus, the muscles which are present in the tube, when the food is passing through this wave like motion, in this part of the body there is no digestion taking place. So there is no digestion which takes place in the esophagus. In the buccal cavity, digestion begins, but in the esophagus part, it is only acting as a passage. The food that is swallowed, it passes into the food pipe, and through the food pipe, it is pushed down by the movement of the wall, and it is passed into another part of the alimentary canal. So where does it reach? Yes, it reaches to the stomach. The stomach is a muscular, hollow, thick-walled and flattened bag-like organ which is present on the left side of the abdomen. It is the widest part of the alimentary canal, and it receives food from esophagus, and after the partial digestion it transfers the food into small intestine. What happens to the food? It is not that once the food has reached the stomach it will stay there in the stomach itself. No, there is partial digestion which is taking place in the stomach, and thereafter the food is passed on into the small intestine. The inner wall of the stomach is lined by millions of gastric glands, and these gastric glands, they secrete gastric juices. What does it secrete? It secretes gastric juices. These gastric juices, they help in the digestion of the food. Now, after the partial digestion has taken place in the stomach, the food now it is passed on into the small intestine. The small intestine is a coiled, folded, long tube which is about 7 meter long and 2.5 centimeter wide. the small intestine is divided into three parts. The upper part is called as duodenum. So this part is called as duodenum. The second part, that is the middle part, is called as jejunum, and the lower part of the small intestine is called as ileum. The inner wall of the small intestine, it also has small finger-like projections present in them, and these finger-like projections which are present on the inner wall of the small intestine are called as villi, and these villi helps in the absorption of the digested food material. Then after what happens, the food, it passes on into the large intestine. The large intestine is a long tube which is about 1.5 meters long and 6.5 centimeters wide. The large intestine also has three parts, that is cecum, colon and rectum. Which are the three parts? Cecum, colon and rectum. The ileum of the small intestine, as you have seen in the small intestine, this is the last part of the small intestine. So the ileum of the small intestine, it opens up into the cecum, and this cecum leads into the colon. The colon surrounds the folds of the small intestine, and finally it leads to the rectum. The rectum, it opens into the anus, through which the undigested food is thrown out of the body in the form of feces. The semi-solid form, the undigested food is passed out of the body in the semi-solid form, and this semi-solid form of the undigested food is called as feces. What is it called? It is called as feces. So the feces matter is removed through the anus from time to time. So this is how the complete complete digestion takes place, and the food which we take through the mouth slowly passes down. First, from the buccal cavity, it reaches into the esophagus. From the esophagus, it is reaching to the stomach. From the stomach, it is passing on into the small intestine. From the small intestine, it is reaching into the large intestine. And finally, through the anus, the feces matter is removed out of our body. So, now as we have discussed about an organ system, looking at this structure, which organ system is shown here? Now, I suppose everyone is aware that this figure, it shows digestive system, which begins in the buccal cavity and ends up at the anus. The food is taken through the mouth, passes down through the esophagus, reaches to the stomach, from the stomach to the small intestine, from the small intestine to the large intestine, and finally it reaches into the anus, from where it is excreted out of our body. In the next session, we'll be discussing about circulatory system and respiratory system. So the homework for you today is you will just read the content that is given in the book, and also we'll be discussing about the different digestive glands which are helping in the digestion of the food. Other than this, you are given some homework that is given as PDF. Kindly complete that work in the fair copy. As I have already told, time to time your copies will be collected for correction. So it is expected that you will complete all your work that is given, and you will be submitting your copies on time so that your copies are checked and you get your internal assessment marks. So with this, we end up today's session. Hope to meet again. God bless you.